Yeah. First thing, statement. What do you mean by a statement? See, statement is a sentence which is either true or false, but not both. Correct, Nana? So if you are giving if you are, telling a sentence, it will be either true or false, but you cannot tell both at the same time, right? So such type of thing, you will call it as a statement. And these statements, they are always represented with lowercase letters, that is small letters, like P, Q, R, whatever. Now, the truthness of this statement is called truth value. And this truthfulness, it is denoted by capital T. So for example, if I am telling Sherwin is a boy, so that is a truthful statement. So I will indicate that with capital T. Okay. Whereas the falsity, that is the false statement, it is referred with F. So if I am telling Sherwin is a female, that is a false statement, right? Correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, the thing is, if, for example, let us say, if two statements have same truth value, you will call those statements as equivalent. So for example, let us say there is a statement P and there is another statement Q, where both are having the same truth value, then you will call them as equivalent, and you will represent them with showing P is equals to Q. Now, there are many statements which are combination of simple statements with connecting words. So these connecting words, they are called as connectives. They are like and, or, if, then, if and only if. Okay, these are all connectives. So a statement which is composed of some simple statements with connectives, you will call that as a compound statement. It is nothing but statement with simple statements with connectives. Okay, clear? Clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Right, next. There is something called negation, sir. Negation. What do you mean by negation? See, for example, there is any statement. The negative of that statement, you will call it as negation. So, for example, let us say there is a statement P, and let us say the statement P is true. So, the negation of P would be false. So, for example, let us say that you are not having time to prepare. So, the negation of that statement would be you are having time to prepare, right? So let us say the statement is false. So the negation of that statement will be true. So this is nothing but the truth table for negation. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Next, there is something called disjunction, sir. Disjunction is nothing but two simple statements are connected with or. Or is represented like this, sir, like V. Okay. Now let us say there are two statements P and Q. I want to find P or Q. So in P or Q, sir, whenever we are writing like this, so you are having two statements P and Q. And what will happen is the disjunction of two statements. I'll just write it over, sir. First, the disjunction of two statements is false only when both statements are false. Clear? So for example, let us say both are true. Then the disjunction will be true. P is true, Q is false. Then also the disjunction will be true. P is false and Q is true. Then also you will have disjunction true. If both are false, then the disjunction will be false. Am I clear, sir, in this regard? Any doubts, sir?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
This is disjunction. Next, there is something called conjunction, sir. When I say conjunction, sir, the conjunction of two statements is true only when both statements are true, sir. And this conjunction, it is referred like this, sir. So let us take P, Q, P conjunction Q. Now what will happen? Both are true, only then it will be true. P is false, Q is true. Conjunction will also be false. This is true and this is false. Conjunction will be false. Both are false. Conjunction will also be false. Understood the difference between disjunction and conjunction, sir?
Yes, sir.
Right, great. Now let us say there is a statement, the next one, next connective statements. Conditional statement, or you can also call it as implication. Also, you can refer to this as if, then, or implies. If, then, or implies. Okay. So here what is happening is, let us take P and Q. This is implies means you will refer like this. You already know, since your childhood you are using this. Now let us say P is true, Q is also true. You will take it as true. P is true, Q is false. So here what you are doing? True is implying false. So your conditional will also be false. False is implicating truth, so it will be truth. False will implicate false, that is both true, and it is represented with T. So you will get false only when truth implies false. Am I clear, sir, in this regard?
Yes, sir.
This is about implies, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And over here, if P implies Q, P is called as hypothesis and Q is referred to as conclusion. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Next. Biconditional. Or you can also say by implication. Take the case of P, Q. By implication is referred to like this, sir. Both sides arrows. Okay. Right. Both are true. So both are implicating truth. So it is true. P is T, true, and Q is F. So false is implicating truth, that is false. Similarly, false implicating truth is also false. But if false implicate false and false implicates false, then they will be true. So both are same, you are getting true. If one is different, you will be getting false. This is for biconditional statement, sir. Clear, Nana?
Yes, sir.
Right. Next. There is something called converse, sir. You might have learnt in your 8th and 9th and 10th classes, converse of a statement. Right. What do you mean by converse of a statement? See, if I say P implies Q, the converse of this statement would be Q implies P. Correct? Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Great. Fantastic. Next, you have something called inverse, sir. For example, let us say inverse of P implies Q is negation of P implying negation of Q. This is called inverse. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, third one. We have something called contrapositive. Contrapositive. Sir, what is contrapositive, sir? See, if P implies Q, then negation of Q implies negation of P. This is referred to as contrapositive, sir. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. There are some terms, sir. One or two terms. So first one is a tautology. What do you mean by tautology? If the compound statement contains only T in last column, you will refer to that as a tautology. Similarly, If there is only F in last column, only F, you will call that as contradiction. 10th class la படிச்சிருப்பீங்க நீங்க by the method of contradiction and சொல்லி. Contradiction means you will assume one statement and you will prove that it is false, right? That is what you will be doing in contradiction. Then
Yes, sir.
another important point, sir, please note this point. Two compound statements. 1 minute, sir. Just give me 1 minute. Just want to change my name. 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. Two compound statements. They are said to be logically equivalent. Logically equivalent if their truth tables are identical, sir. This you will represent as P logically equivalent to Q. Okay? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. There are certain laws that these things obey, sir. I mean, these statements obey. You will refer to it as algebra of statements. The first statement being idempotent law. So P disjunction P will give you P. Similarly, P conjunction P will also give you P. This is idempotent law. Next, you have associative law, sir. So in associative law, PRQ or R is equivalent to PR QRV. I mean Q or R. P and Q and R is equivalent to P and Q and R. And we also have commutative law. Commutative law. PRQ is identical to QRP. P and Q is equivalent to QRP. I mean Q and P. Then you have distributive law, sir. PR, Q and R is equivalent to PRQ and PRR. Similarly, P and QRR is equivalent to P and Q or P and R. These are your distributive laws, sir. Then next another one, De Morgan's law. What is happening in De Morgan's law? Let us say negation of P or Q. This is equivalent to negation of P and negation of Q. Similarly, negation of P and Q is equivalent to negation of P or negation of Q. Next, identity loss. Identity loss, P or falsity is equivalent to P. P and truthfulness is equivalent to P. P or T is equivalent to T. P and F is equivalent to F. These are identity loss, sir. So over here, T can take only values of true and F can take only values of falsity. F. Clear?
Yes, sir.
You need to memorize this loss, sir, basically, nothing else. Next. Complement loss. PR, negation of P is equivalent to truth. P and negation of P is equivalent to falsity. Last one, involution loss. Negation of P is equals to P. Negation of truth is falsity. Negation of falsity is equals to truth. Okay. Next. There is something called open sentence, sir. Open sentence. So what do you mean by open sentence? Sir, a sentence having one or more variables is an open sentence. If it becomes true or false statement, when we replace the variable by some specific value, from a given set. That is referred to as an open sentence. And this replacement set, this is referred to as domain. Okay. And there are certain statements, certain phrases, sir, phrases like for all, for some, for no, for every, there exists at least one. So all these, sir, they are representing or conveying the idea of quantity. Hence, these are all called as quantifiers because they are talking about quantity. Clear?
Yes,
For
sir.
all and for every, these two are called universal quantifiers. And they are denoted like this, sir. Some and there exists only one. These are called as existential quantifiers. They are referred to like this. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And there is something called switch, sir. Switch. What does it do, sir? See, a switch will allow only two possibilities. it is either open, which is there is no flow in current, and or closed, where there will be flow of current. Okay, that is how you use switches. Clear?
Yes, sir.
That is about your mathematical reasoning, sir. I'll share some questions with you. You can try and get back with the doubts. Okay, I'll share now itself. Just work out in your free time and get back with your doubts. Okay,
Yes, sir.
right. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir.